Yeah, this is Somali Corner episode 2. Episode 1 was semi-success. Kind of like got, I wouldn't say hijacked, but like kind of taken over. It got hijacked. I was just trying to be diplomatic. Okay?
Let's be real, man.
I was trying to be diplomatic. But look, today and going forward, I would like to make a humble request to any brother that's not Somali. If you see Somali Corner going in, just humbly kick back and listen, bro. You know what I mean? Just allow us to tell our story, innit? Because ultimately, the reason you lot keep calling us Ethiopian, because you haven't heard us describe our story. Yeah, you've just heard our story from other people, whether they be Europeans, whether they be Caribbeans, whether they be Americans, and so forth. So this is your opportunity to learn directly from a Somali. So just give us the just give us a decency of giving us your attention. You know what I mean? Now today in episode 2, what we would like to discuss is Africa and Islam. Now the reason I was quite keen to discuss this issue, or this topic rather, is because I don't really understand this conflict that exists within sort of the conscious community and the Muslims in this part. I see Islam as a faith system that came out of Africa. I consider the Arabian Peninsula to be Northeast Africa, therefore Mecca is Africa, Medina is Africa, Jerusalem is Africa, Bethlehem, Hebron, Damascus, Baghdad, everything from the Sinai Desert, which separates Egypt from modern day Israel, right through to the border of Iraq and Iran. I consider that to be all one landmass. So yeah, therefore, I see it as an African as a faith system that came out of the African continent. So therefore, I don't really see why there should be a conflict between the two. However, there is no doubt that, especially within the context of this part, which is very sort of tribalistic, there is conflict between those people that are referred to as, and some of them refer to themselves as Kemet, and the Muslims in this park, innit? So yeah, man, I just wanna put it out there, hear everybody's view. And what's really interesting about this topic is that there's no such thing as one definition of there's no such thing as one definition of a continent. So me saying that Arabia is part of the African continent is an argument that you can make based on geography and anthropology. Arguing that Africa, the Middle East and Asia and Europe is all one landmass is another argument that you can make based on geography. Arguing that Arabia is part of Asia instead of Africa is another argument you can make based on geography. And to be honest with you, technically none of them are wrong. Yeah. So this is a particularly interesting sort of topic. So yeah, I just want to open out there. But yeah, I'm with my brother Abu Tala. What's your views on Africa and Islam? Do you see Islam as an African faith system, or a faith system rather that came from Africa for humanity? I should make that clear. Just because I'm arguing that Islam came from the African continent, it does not mean that it's for the Africans. It's for all of humanity. Yeah, I'm just saying it came from there. But what's your viewpoint on that?
I think there is an argument to be made that the Middle East, what we call the Middle East today, is part of Africa. You can make an argument for that. For me, I don't know too much about that, that's why. So I wouldn't know. But I would say that there's a legitimate argument to be made. Because the whole Suez Canal, okay, that was a man-made thing, innit?
Correct.
So there was like a continuation in terms of landmass to the Middle East. So there is a legitimate argument. I just haven't researched, I haven't looked into it too deeply.
So really my argument is based mostly on anthropology as opposed to geography. So what do I mean by anthropology? If you study culture, for example, a language and so forth, and if you compare a city like Baghdad to a city like Cairo, nobody here is going to argue Cairo is not on the African continent. Yeah, no one here is going to make that argument. Compare Cairo to Baghdad. Many people say Baghdad is in Asia. Compare Cairo and Baghdad. Compare the language. Compare the culture. Compare the religion, the food, the music, etc. And what you'll find is they are two very similar cities, to the point where the ethnic makeup of the city, in terms of the appearance of the people, it's almost the same. So there's people in Cairo that are very fair skinned. There's people that are very dark skinned, and there's people in the middle. Same with Baghdad. There's people that look West African in Baghdad. as well as people that look almost European in Baghdad. So there's that range of people exist in both cities. Now, what's really interesting is if you compare Baghdad to Tehran, Baghdad is far closer to Tehran than Baghdad is to Cairo. But the differences are they're so different that you can't say they're similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I think we should just pass it around now and ask people, like, as Africans and Muslims, how can we raise a new generation in this country, in this kind of environment? I think that's a good question to pass around to see.
So tell me, I mean, let's start with you. So if you consider it to be part of the same landmass, do you feel like there shouldn't be any kind of conflicts between this sort of woke / conscious community and Muslims?
Yeah, there shouldn't be. I don't think there should be. Like, I don't understand what is the issue with Islam that these woke community have. Because Islam is like a religion, isn't it? It's an ideology. You're not attributed to a specific people. It's for like a specific people that's walking Islam, talking Islam. It doesn't exist like that. Islam is just an ideology. A black person can have it, a white person can have it, an Asian can have it. You get me? So if you have an issue with the ideology, that's on you, innit? That's on you.
But yeah, does anybody else want to chip in?
Yeah, I want to ask everyone, as Somali and as a Muslim, how would you raise a new generation in this country, in a secular society like that we live in? We could just pass it around.
Chip in, you don't have to be on camera, my guy. You can stand behind the camera, you have the mic.
Yeah, you just pass the mic to everyone.
You're not on camera.
How do you think you should raise a child here in the West? And with his religion intact, with his culture and all that. Do you think we need more madrasas? Like, that's what we have even in this country. We take our children to Duxi. We teach them. How do you think we should do it? Because I think, from my perspective, Duxi is a good thing that we have. Duxi is like an Islamic school we take our kids to learn the Quran, to learn stuff like that, and we can also teach them our history in our home, innit? So what do you think? How do you think we should do it?
When it comes to the Somali community, I think it's like most of us we grew up in London, innit? Like basically, so, and it's like heavily like Jamaican, Nigerian influence. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like me, I grew up in South London, and growing up in school. Like growing up as a Muslim, I wasn't really like religious in it, but like the more you grow up, like in the communities, let's say Duxi in it, like let's say mosque, not mosque, sorry, madrasa. When you're learning about, let's say, Islam, like you're not really interested in that. It's basically a youth club, innit? Like I say, like most of the time, the way we teach, they teach in madrasas, like it's not really like what they call it.
Don't mind. Camera.
I'm on my face and that.
No worries. Continue.
But anyways, what was I saying? Madrasas and that, like there's not much to learn in it, because like no one's really interested in it in a way. Like no disrespect to madrasas and that. But
so I think we should start with. Do you think we should start with learning the culture, learning the history and all that, and how Islam played a role in shaping us as Somalis?
Yeah, basically.
That should be a role, and then they'll be more interested in taking the religion and when you teach them Quran and stuff.
Yeah, because madrasas in a way they're just youth clubs, magic. You know what I'm saying? They're youth clubs and it's like school, innit? Yeah. Like you basically go there for friends, innit? So the way I say like Somalis in this country have been born incorrect in my opinion, anyways. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Go on, brother. Say something.
Yeah, well,
all I got to say.
I'll say something. So growing up in London and going to like a South London school, I know that I had a lot of Somali friends growing up and a lot of Muslim friends growing up, and a lot of them do get sent to like Quran schools when they're young and Islamic schools when they're young. But the truth is, most Muslim youths, they get influenced, they get assimilated into society, and they get influenced by what the school propagates. Especially nowadays, it's getting a lot worse. So like in nurseries now, they're going to start hosting gender neutral classes and that stuff. It's all messed up now. It's all messed up. They're going to start having homosexual day, all of these stuff every week in schools where they take kids and teach them about gender diversity. So although the Duxi and all these Islamic Saturday schools, they're really, really good, most Muslim youth, they end up getting assimilated into Western society and pop culture. Yeah, and that's a problem.
Yeah, I will agree. I mean, ultimately, if you choose to migrate to Europe, one of what you're buying into is this notion that to some extent my children are going to assimilate. Yeah. So, for example, like if your child grows up in a house where he's speaking Somali every day, but because he's what the television that he watches is in English, the school that he goes to, everything is taught in English. Even though he might speak Somali every single day in his house, you can't guarantee that his thoughts are in Somali. He dreams in Somali, you understand? Because he lives in an English world, he lives in an English country, he speaks English every day, or he's exposed to English every day as well, you know what I mean? So as much as you might try to isolate them, ultimately they are going to assimilate to some extent, you know what I mean? Like, look at the way we dress. If we grew up back home, we wouldn't dress like this. You know what I mean? We dress like this because of we have assimilated to an extent. You know what I mean? Now, what level of assimilation is acceptable is really the debate here. You know what I mean? So, how far are we supposed to assimilate for it to be okay? And is there a level of assimilation that is dangerous to us? So that's really the question. I want to open up to everyone else.
I think assimilation is like a new form of imperialism, you know, because if you tell us, yeah, this society is multicultural, that means many cultures are tolerated, you know, there's no assimilation.
Yes.
But the moment you say one culture has to assimilate to another culture, that is cultural supremacy, that is imperialism. You understand? So, and that's saying like your culture is inferior, you have to leave it at the door before you come to the UK. That kind of talk here, I think that is very extreme, you know, it's something that is pushed by the far right. But in this country, there's something called multiculturalism. So I don't have to integrate into nothing. You understand? I just come with my culture, and there are Somali community here that exists. So I just fit in with that community. That is it. And I could also talk and understand other communities and learn from them, but I don't have to assimilate and try to be like them.
But the fact
doesn't make sense.
But the fact is, you're here in a pair of denim jeans.
Yeah.
You know, you're wearing Western logos, Western labels, and so forth.
Yes.
So as much as you might say I haven't assimilated, you have assimilated to an extent. Now, the question is there a level of assimilation that is acceptable and that cannot be avoided? For example, you can't avoid, if your child is raised in this country, you can't avoid your child growing up and dressing in a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You can't avoid that, right? What I'm saying, that is assimilation. Now, is there a level that is benign? Like, for example, just adopting their clothes and so forth. Is that benign, or is that detrimental to our culture?
I think the clothes and all that is benign. This is not serious. It's not something that is really going to affect somebody's culture. You know, because even look, certain cultures here, what they wear is also dependent on the weather. You understand? So if you're in this country and try to wear Somali, you know, cultural clothes, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out for you. So obviously there is that sort of assimilation here. That is something that works. You know, learning the language, that is something that is always required, isn't it?
Sure.
That's just benign stuff. I'm talking about I have to abandon certain, you know, core principles of our culture. For example, if I don't believe in democracy, yeah, I don't think I'm a crazy person. I don't think I'm somebody who's not assimilating. That's just me. I don't believe in democracy, do I? Imagine I come from a culture that doesn't have that. For me to say, oh, you're in this country, you have to accept it, doesn't make any sense. Because in this country, I don't have to vote. You get me?
You don't have to vote.
Yeah, I can abstain. That's actually a right that I have within democracy.
Absolutely.
So for me to say, I'm not going to vote, doesn't mean that I'm not assimilating or, you know, I'm outside. I'm just one of the people who chose not to vote, innit? And if I don't believe in the system, I don't have to believe in it as well. You know?
Yeah, man, I completely agree. And also, I would like to say that, you know, multiculturalism, in order for multiculturalism to be a thing, you have to give fringe spaces for other cultures to exist. You know, Notting Hill Carnival used to be, once upon a time, a fringe space that the African Caribbean culture could exist. Bollywood cinemas is a fringe space where Indian culture can exist. Yeah, that's okay. You can leave fringe spaces for other cultures. The moment it becomes problematic is when you say to them, you know, we're going to adopt the best things out of your culture. So we're going to take chicken tikka masala, but we're going to call it an English thing. We're going to take tea, we're going to call it an English thing. You know what I mean? The Indian calls cricket English. You know what I mean? Why doesn't the Englishman call tea Indian? You feel me? There's nothing wrong with cultural appreciation, but appropriation is something altogether different. Altogether different. So it's this notion that, you know, the default dominant culture can exist, and that's okay, and nobody challenges it. But these fringe cultures are not allowed to exist in fringe spaces unless they're assimilated by the dominant culture. By that point, the dominant culture claims it's its own culture. Do you know what I mean? Now this has happened in music. This has happened in food. This has happened in many different, even sports. The Englishman claims that football, he invented it. the Chinese were playing football 2,000 years ago. He didn't invent it. The Englishman claims that he invented. The Englishman claims that he invented boxing. Like the Greeks weren't doing boxing 2,000 years ago. Come on, bruv. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. Now, like I said,
what's the actual topic?
The topic is
Assimilation.
assimilation. So
Assimilation is a myth.
you're against it.
It's a myth.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you
There's
mean
no
by
such there's no such thing as assimilation,
Why?
because you have your way of life and another person has his.
So did you not see that? Did you hear that example about tea?
What's the example?
So the English, even though nowhere in this island can you grow tea, the Englishman claims tea is somehow indigenous to the English, or somehow a quote unquote English tradition. Now the opposite is cricket. So the Indian loves cricket, right? But the Indian is very well aware that cricket is a British thing, yeah, and he doesn't claim it to be anything else. Yoga comes from India, but when you think of yoga, you're thinking of a white girl in leggings, and you're not thinking of an Indian, are you? You know what I mean? So there's a difference. My point is, there's a difference between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation.
Yeah, we can appreciate cultures
Yeah.
if it's a good culture, but integration and mixing is something that is a personal choice of an individual. Because I choose to integrate as a Somali, I don't expect every Somali to integrate.
Define integration.
Mixing,
Wow. Define mixing.
mixing with other people from other cultures, like maybe going to their events or participating in their cultural practices.
Diluting your own culture, basically.
Like for me, like practicing Christmas, for example.
Okay.
It's not my culture. It's not my religious. No. So, for people to say to us that we have to integrate
Yeah.
is basically saying that I don't have a choice
Yeah.
where I go,
Fascism.
where I stand, where I live. Now, in the UK specifically,
Yeah.
if I live in a Somali area and my Somali people are helping me to do everything I need to survive in the UK, I don't need to go into other cultures to seek for help. So we have to know the reason why we need to integrate. If there's no need for me to integrate, I won't integrate. There has to be a need for me to integrate. Do you understand? So we have to separate what is a want and what is a need. Do you need to integrate? That's a subjective thing. You might need to integrate, not me. If my Somali people, if I come to this country and I don't know any English, and my Somali people have helped me to apply for a job, to apply for a license, to apply for a passport, do I need to ask someone else?
No, you
I've
don't.
already got my brothers.
Exactly.
They've already helped me. Furthermore, when I came to this country, or when a person comes to this country and you're a refugee or something, where do they put you? Do they place you in Chelsea or do they put you in a Somali community?
The Somali community.
So how can they put you in a Somali community and then tell you to integrate?
Well, what you'll find is that people naturally segregate just by default. You're gonna want to live with, for example, people that are your family members.
No,
Your family
they put you in that area.
Can I land? So I'm talking about naturally people segregate. So for example, the east end of London 50 years ago was totally whites. Yeah, today it's Bengalis, Arabs, Pakistanis, the whole world's there. Now those 100% white people that live there, once upon a time, today they live in Essex. Why? Because their friends and family moved to Essex, so they want to move with their family. Why do all Bengalis live in Whitechapel? Or why do a lot of Bengalis live in Whitechapel? Because they want to live near their cousins and their parents or what have you, and whatever the case may be. So people naturally segregate. I don't really see that as a problem. If you're saying that we should that natural segregation and we should be fixed within those communities, and those communities shouldn't overlap. Like I can't go to the Afghan butcher to buy my meat, or I can't go see a Pakistani doctor. yeah, that's problematic, innit? Because you're saying that all those
He's
cultures
not
should be
saying that.
isolated.
He's not
That's
saying
not
that.
what I'm saying.
I hear you, but let me land.
But that's not what I'm saying.
I hear where you're coming from. Now that's when it's problematic. Now if you're saying simply that
I'm
I'm
saying
going to enjoy my culture, and my culture is not just exclusive for me. I mean, if you want to enjoy it as well, if a non-Somali person wants to eat bris and hilib and they want to have banana with their bris, they're cool. I'm cool with that.
What
innit?
I am saying is every individual, I don't care whether it's Somali, Afghani, even the Somalis, even me being a Somali, and you being a Somali, and him being a Somali, we're still all separate individuals.
Sure.
Because you're Somali, I can't tell you what to do.
Sure.
If you want to integrate, that's you. If he doesn't want to integrate, that's him. If I don't want to integrate, that's me. That is the true definition of freedom.
Yeah.
Because my freedom is not tied to you.
Yeah.
I'm my own person.
Sure.
So, that's where I draw the line. I don't dictate to anyone where they should integrate. If you want to go and integrate with the Chinese people in Chinatown, I'm not going to call you any less of a Somali. Do you see where I'm coming from? So everyone is an individual. But the media want to always generalize and put people in the same box.
Sure.
So now, for example, when they say Muslims need to integrate,
Yes.
well, if a Muslim wants to integrate, that's him. If I don't want to integrate, that's me. So
shall I tell you a
we
story,
need
yeah?
to individualize the situation rather than generalize, because we have to understand.
Brother, just
I-
to add to what you're saying, yeah. Me, I was in college, I was sitting down. There was a thing that showed up on the screen, yeah, my teacher was explaining to me, called the Prevent program. And part of the Prevent program, yeah, to say...
Is this for terrorism?
Yeah, no, yeah, but it's about, they were doing it in every school, in every
Okay.
college, yeah. So it's in my classroom, they're telling me, yeah, they're saying if you don't agree with democracy, basically, you're on the Prevent program. It's one of the signs of being on the Prevent program. You have to report you. So this is
So what, I should call the terrorism hotline?
yeah, this is what I call this is what I call fascism.
Okay.
This is the ultimate definition of fascism. Just because I don't agree with your system, mean automatically you're on some sort of watch
But the
list.
funny thing is, within that system,
And not only that-
disagreeing with it
Yeah.
is an option for you.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? The whole system of democracy means I can either accept democracy, not accept it. I can be a
Yeah,
communist.
because the
I
biggest
can
value you
Yeah.
have is freedom.
Yeah, but they're taking away the freedom. The fascism is coming in now. That's what's coming up. Just like Nazi Germany, you do not allow dissent. You do not allow anybody to say, I'm against the Reich. You get me? So if I say today, I'm against democracy, all of a sudden, you're on some sort of thing in it.
And just because
We're not gonna tolerate you, there's no tolerance.
and just because someone disagrees with your way of life
Yeah.
doesn't mean they're gonna attack you.
Yeah, they're trying to dictate to you how to live, basically. What your way of life you should adopt. They're trying to say, my culture, my system is superior to yours. Automatically, you must accept it. If you don't accept it, then there's a problem. All of a sudden, they want to fight you, they want to engage you. So why? Why are you attacking me simply for not accepting your democracy? I don't have to accept it.
Okay,
My culture, my
and to be
history
honest-
is against it never had democracy in it.
And like I said-
even you didn't have democracy. A couple of years ago, you had monarchy.
Yeah.
You're teaching me, okay, in history class about King Henry IV, Queen Elizabeth. What are they? Are they all on the some sort of Prevent program or what? Because they were monarchies. You understand? That's your history is monarchy.
Yeah, sure.
The British history, majority of it is monarchies.
How do you feel?
So if I believe in monarchy, it's not a democracy. Why does that make it a bad deal?
Okay, I hear you. Listen, and like I said, within democracy, you rejecting democracy is an option that's open to you.
Exactly, within democracy.
And
as well.
even that is
But they're saying he doesn't have an option.
Yeah, the fascism that's coming
that's
up.
bad, isn't it? That's wrong, and that's because of
new government.
the bias and the prejudice that Muslims have to deal with in the last 20 years, innit? But that's a sort of a very recent phenomenon, innit?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's still developing, so we don't really know.
And it's even worse. It gets worse, yeah. Because like if somebody grows their beard, or all of a sudden they're praying their salah, or all these things are like signs.
crazy.
They're telling you this is a signs to look out for.
It's crazy. It's
Okay, so somebody practicing their religion, especially Islam, they're specific about it. They're not saying somebody practicing. He all of a sudden he has a cross, or he's going to church more often. Those are signs. There's not. It's only Islam.
George W. Bush is a Christian extremist. If Osama bin Laden is an Islamic extremist, George W. Bush is a Christian extremist. There's no doubt
George
about
W.
it.
Bush killed more than this Osama bin Laden guy.
Many
Millions
more.
of people. But all of a sudden, they are not on some sort of. Nobody looks at them like they're terrorists, which is what they are.
just to let you know,
They're not on the watch list.
Exactly.
Just to let you know, George W.
There
Bush
is a
said,
discrimination against
quote,
Muslims.
God made me invade Iraq.
Yeah.
Imagine a Muslim. Imagine Bin Laden said, God made me drive those planes in the Twin Towers. Come on.
If
bro.
he even did it. And also,
Come on, bro.
he said, George Bush said, yeah, I saw Gog and Magog is rising up from Iraq. He said, that's what my Bible tells me. Gog and Magog is rising up from Iraq. That's why I have to invade it. He said it's a crusade. He even said the words. Like, people can just clip that and you can see it. Look, crusade. You see? And all these things about Christianity, all the stuff they're doing in the world, nobody looks at them like they're murderers or they're killers or whatever. Nobody paints their religion in a weird way. But for us, all of a sudden we're under attack for our religion, for our culture.
The question is,
especially if you're black and Muslim, that's it. It's game over.
For me, I feel
try to go to court as a black Muslim.
I feel a big part. I think a big part of this is the fact that 95% of the Muslims in the world are either black or brown. Yeah, they're melanated. Now, the vast majority of Christians, well, I can't say the majority, but the perceived majority of Christians in the world is white. So because it's white, it's default. Because it's default, they can segregate the text from the individual. So if an individual does something bad, it's always the individual. So Jimmy Savile, for example, is not called white man pedo, is he? He's called Jimmy Savile, the monster. Simple.
Yeah.
But when an Asian man does it, it's Asian pedo monster. You understand?
Or Muslim.
But hear what though? When Amir Khan goes to Athens, beats up the whole world, comes back with an Olympic silver medal.
He's British.
Yeah, he's British. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Is he any less Asian than the terrorist? He's not, is he?
Or the rapist.
Or the rapist. He's any less Asian? He's not. But why is one described as Asian when it's a negative connotation, and one is described as British if it's in a positive connotation?
Or Mo Farah.
Mo Farah's another one, yeah.
Even the recent shooting, shooting in America about the children that were massacred by this kid, nobody said about his religion. How come we never found out about his religion or what his beliefs? All they said there was a crazy guy, went into a school, shot up everybody. New laws introduced.
So the question
nothing.
is like these organizations like Prevent and stuff, do they actually have people you can go to and discuss things with? Or do they just impose? Like what if people wanted to have a conversation with these people, sometimes you can't even find a number for these people. They just impose. So if they have a hotline, if they have a then there's at least room for discussion. And we should go up there and discuss with them. Why would you think that for someone to be consistently going to the mosque, or for someone to grow their beard, or for someone to disagree with democracy is all of a sudden someone that you need to watch? We just need to ask these questions. Why?
Not only watch. Wallahi, I saw innocent sister, completely innocent. She's not part of nothing. She's just Muslim woman, practicing Muslim woman, Her children taken away from her by force by the government, and they're giving that children to non-Muslims, and they're going to be raised in a non-Muslim environment, raised as non-Muslims.
Disgusting.
And she has to go to court crying, "Oh, please give me back my children." They take away her children, because she's gonna teach them extreme views. What are these extreme views you're talking about? Not believing in democracy. That's one of the so-called extreme views. Obviously, being a religious Muslim, that's one of the so-called extreme views that she's gonna give her children. That's what they're trying to say. So they take her children away and give it to a non-Muslim. That's the stuff we're facing in Muslim community, We're facing innocent Muslim, completely innocent, nothing to do with nothing, Just practicing their religion, getting their door kicked in. When he's with his wife in the middle of the night, he's naked, whatever, taking him out, humiliating him, handcuffing him, terrorizing him, taking away all his electronic equipment, all these things. And you can find out from, my Somali brother, this happened to him, it happened to a Pakistani uncle over there, and the Muslims are all finding this out, So this is what radicalizes the youth. Youth, they will react. They'll be like, "Hey, my uncle just got raided, humiliated, stripped naked." Imagine your own mother getting stripped naked and touched up and stuff by police officers. You're gonna become like some crazy person. You're gonna be mentally scarred. You will want to react against the authorities. You're gonna want to react against the government. That's how human nature is.
That's what radicalizes people.
Exactly. The government specifically radicalizes Muslims. They go for Muslims. Even look up here, these people that joined ISIS who are the main guys who were chopping the head, everything. He was radicalized by MI5. MI5 was harassing him, trying to say, "Oh, you have to spy on Muslims for us," and he refuses. And they harassed him, and they called up. Imagine he's trying to get a job, and they call up his boss. And they say, "Oh, we're investigating him for extremism." So he gets fired. And they're after him, they're just trying to humiliate him, so that he finally becomes a spy for them. You understand? And then, he doesn't want to be a spy, so what does he do? He has to go and join this crazy group or whatever and start doing crazy stuff in it.
But we don't justify that.
And we're
what
not
happened to
We
justifying
don't
it.
justify
By the way,
that.
what happened
We're
to the topic?
saying,
What
there
happened to the
is a
topic?
systematic approach by the government, trying to demonize Muslims, put them down,
I agree.
make them into terrorists, attack them, take away their children. We are being attacked as a community. That's how we feel. I'm talking about Muslims, certain Muslims. That's how we feel. We're under attack.
Do you think
there is no freedom of religion?
Do you
in this
think
country.
it's worse for certain
That's
Muslim
the thing.
communities over
There is no
others?
You have to challenge them. You have to challenge organizations like
We
Prevent.
have nobody
'cause
speaking up for us.
I
We have
no,
no
you-
voice in this entire system. It's a
We will,
fake system.
we will, but what I'm trying to say is these organizations, we have to go there and challenge them. Why do you have...
who's made up of the
we don't even know
who's in these organizations?
We don't know, that's the thing.
We don't even know where to go, where to speak.
It's for us to go and search and research who we can speak
And
to.
hold them to account as
And
well.
hold them to account to the principles that they have put up there to characterize us with certain characteristics and then come to the conclusion that this person is radical, this person is radical. How did you come to the conclusion?
It's crazy.
For having a beard. There's so many men have a... It's part of your manhood to have a beard.
And we have to redefine radical. We have to redefine what it means to be extreme or radical. Because all of a sudden, this is all focused on Muslims. There's like a lens, specifically when it comes to radicalization or extremism. It's only about Muslims. When there's a crazy little Asian kid over here, saying, I want to put Muslims in concentration camps, I want to go kill Muslims and all that, nobody says anything. Nobody's not being arrested for hate speech. If we started saying anything even remotely close to that,
Absolutely.
everybody's charged with hate speech. We're all arrested,
Absolutely.
Our doors being kicked down, our wife is being touched up. That's the reality
Listen,
of Muslims in the UK.
I know a young brother when he was 15. Yeah, him and a group of brothers. This brother's 15, and him and a group of brothers were coming back from Jummah prayer. They were walking past a Jewish high school. Yeah, there was a security guard outside.
I'm gonna be gone, yeah?
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. They walked past a Jewish high school. Now this brother was screw facing the security guard. He's young and dumb in it. For whatever reason, he was screw facing the security guard, and he went what to him in it. And for saying what and for staring at him, he was arrested under anti-terrorism, under the anti-terrorism laws. Now he only spent a few days in a cell. However, he could have spent up to, as far as I know, up to 30 days without being charged. You know what I mean? And it's a young 15-year-old kid. Yeah. Now, we're lucky that this kid is a smart kid in it, and he knows his deen in it, so he's never gonna go left because he knows too much. Yeah, and these people that go left is because they don't understand the basics. They don't understand the basics. ABC.
It's also because of the system and the way the system targets them.
Yeah.
And even look here, if a Muslim
But
today,
if they had knowledge, they wouldn't be joining ISIS.
I know. If a Muslim today, say for example, imagine they get charged, just getting charged alone. Say a Muslim gets charged alone with terrorism, That Muslim, even if he's found innocent, imagine he's been locked up for a couple of years, and then they finally found out he's innocent, he's getting no money paid for all those time. If a normal non-Muslim, if he gets charged with extremism or radicalization, and he gets arrested, not under terrorism charges, he gets paid out. Later, when he comes out of jail, if he was found innocent, he gets paid money. If a Muslim, he's innocent of terrorism, and he comes out, no money, no nothing. You get me? So this is the reality of Muslims. We're being put down, we're being degraded, we're being attacked systematically. And this whole so-called freedom of religion doesn't exist for Muslims. It's freedom for religion for everybody apart from Muslims. We're seen as like a threat to everything, you get me? And we
Listen, it's Muslims. Look. Like, if you're not Muslim, you're watching this, it's Muslims today. Yeah? It's Muslims today. Tomorrow is going to be the Chinese, innit?
Yeah.
The day after is going to be someone else.
That's how fascism
Yesterday it was the Germans or whatever, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah? Every 20, 30, 40 years, they choose someone else, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
They choose someone else. Yeah? And if you don't protest when it's someone else, don't expect people to protest when it's you.
Yeah.
You feel me? Don't expect that.
And the reality is, when you're seen as an enemy, some youth will become the enemy, you understand? Because if somebody's treating you like an enemy and attacking you systematically, you're gonna think, okay, this person is my enemy, you understand? And they will retaliate and they will fight and they will get what they want. That's how it works. It's like catch-22, you know?
I hear you. What happened to the original topic, bro? I walked off to get a few brothers and then you lot swiftly moved on.
Let's pass the mic around, innit?
Pass the mic around, alright. Who wants to join in? Who wants to jump in?
Mustafa's right there, man. You see, I'm waiting you up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's coming. What's the topic?
Identity. Being Muslim in the 21st century in London. Basically.
Yeah. How do you feel being a Muslim
But
in
what
London?
happened to the original topic? We're not doing that no more.
What original topic? Islam in Africa.
Yeah.
We already finished that. We did that.
Did we?
Yeah, we did that.
Alright. Well, when I said that, bro, the brother here got angry, man. He was giving me hella screw face, but not you, but the guy who was standing there just before you was giving me hella screw face. I thought he was gonna punch me up, bro.
What is it, Somali corner, yeah?
Yeah,
This
come in.
is Somali corner, bro. But you're Aki, you're welcome.
I don't feel like...
You don't feel Somali?
You don't think you're Somali enough?
It's all good.
We
Bro.
got some next kinship going on, bro.
Yeah. We got a link up, bro. Are you Bengali? Well, we got link up for thousands of years, you know.
Our
Don't get
communities
twisted.
are quite similar as well. The fact that, you know, we're from immigrant communities, and I think we go through the same kind of...
Same.
Yeah, even there's a lot of cultural similarities. You lot wear our ma'awis. Yeah, me. You know, we got that not throat, but that sarong looking thing. You know where you got that from?
What, the lungi?
What do you call it, lungi? You know where you got that from? You got that from man. Yeah.
We call it ma'awis, man. We
Call
had
them-
that.
No,
We
it's
had
not
that
longi, it's ma'awis.
It's called the Somali loincloth as well. We had that.
Somali loincloth.
Since ancient times.
So why aren't Somalis wearing it?
They are wearing it,
Yeah,
bro.
in Somalia.
In Somalia, in
Somalia,
London,
It's too
In
cold.
here, Bengalis wear it here, bro.
to the shop, bro.
Rapid. Sunday.
So, nah, I like it, bro. I like it, man. But yeah, man. Look, just to wrap it up, being Muslim in London in the 21st century is challenging, man. It really is.
Yeah.
And what's really sad is that we have a lot of young Muslims that want to go away from their deen because it makes their life easier. It's really sad. Like the sister that doesn't wear a hijab, her life's easier than the one that wears a hijab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The brother with no beard, his life's easier than the brother with a big beard, innit? And so forth. And this is just our test, man. This is our test, bro. And you know what? A lot of the time, we're not aware of our test, bro. I'll be real with you. Like the guy in Syria who's getting bombs dropped on him, he's fully aware of his test. You know what I mean? Nobody has to remind him. Comfort is your test. You know what I mean? How many of us are comfortable? We don't realize that is your test. You feel me?
Yeah.
So man, it's just like just being a bit self-aware as Muslims, being a bit coy, and also being aware that you can build allies with other people that have a similar experience to you. Like, and some of those allies for me, they can be non-Muslim as well, because I know what happened in the Court of Ivory in the early 2000s. Yeah, I know there was a huge civil war. Yeah, where Muslims killed Muslims, where Christians killed Christians, where Christians killed Muslims, where Muslims killed Christians. Yeah, everybody was killing everyone. But I also know when they qualified for the World Cup in 2005, man like Drogba, a Christian, banged in a penalty last minute top corner. He in the changing room afterwards invited the whole national press to come in. He stood next to Yahya Touré, a Muslim, Kolo Touré, a Muslim. All the whole team, half were Muslim, half were Christian. They all got there on their knees and they said, "In the name of God, put down your weapons." What happened? The civil war ended. Yeah, a civil war that was going on for more than a decade ended because non-Muslims and Muslims got together and they had a common aim and a common goal, and they worked together towards it. So that's what I mean by you can potentially build allies with people outside of the fold of Islam if the benefit outweighs the good. And what Drogba and the two Touré brothers did, that the benefit of that outweighed the good. Now,
Also, if I want to say one last few thing here to the Muslim community, Muslims, you have to stick together, okay? Especially in an environment here which is hostile. Let's just be real, yeah? Wallahi, it's hostile environment here. You have to stick together, okay? Don't become divided, because that's the easiest thing. The British here, that's their ultimate strategy. With anybody they meet, any foe they meet, any nation they want to invade, divide and conquer is the British strategy. They invented that, you understand? So they will definitely use it against the Muslim community. They try to divide us. Even these terms that they use is all division, you understand? They want you to attack your Muslim brother and then the Muslim brother to attack you. When you're attacking each other, there's no unity. It's game over for both of you, you understand? It's a wrap. So, okay, they take out one group, then they take out another group, then that's how it works. As a Muslim,
How do you gain unity with someone who's there to divide you? So if there's a Muslim brother that's there to attack you for whatever reason, how do you,
well, you have to have,
where do you see the unity?
I think-
no,
yeah.
you have to separate, for me, segregate the real from the fake.
Yeah.
The real from the fake. Yeah, you build allies with like-minded people. Yeah,
regardless of faith.
I would argue that more often than not, they would be of the same faith. But even if they're outside of my faith, if they are working towards the same goal as me, then it's okay for me to make an ally with them. You know what I mean? Because in this context, in London 2018, man, it's hard here, isn't it? Like, it's tough, yeah? And it's not just tough for me as a Muslim, it's tough for me being, identified as black in this country. It makes it, that's another layer. But I have some privileges. For example, I'm a man. Yeah? However bad it is for me, my sister gets it worse. You feel me? My sister gets it worse, and that's a fact, innit? So even though there are challenges, there are also some privileges. So
okay, I understand what you're saying about the sister. They do get it worse, but in certain instances, yeah, the men get it worse.
yeah, true.
'Cause obviously,
Like I said, it depends on the context.
Because of today's context, innit? Because today's context is about the Muslim man is the enemy, the Muslim man is a terrorist, the Muslim man
The
is this and
woman
that.
is another victim of the Muslim man.
Yeah, exactly. The
That's
Muslim
that's
woman
the narrative
is,
that's
that she
painted.
gets a different types of discrimination. Muslim man gets a specific discrimination which wants to criminalize it. Why in the prisons today, yeah, are majority loads of Muslims? Why are people, you know, trying to grow beards in prison, trying to act Muslim? Because there's bare Muslims. Why are there bare Muslims in prison? It's because the system is designed to imprison Muslim men. They designed it such a way where a Muslim man, you imagine just walking around, some MI6 agent or MI5 will approach you and do a sting operation on you, a sting operation or entrapment where you didn't want to do nothing, but they're trying to radicalize you and they give you a bomb and they're like, go do this and that. They're the ones doing it.
Sure.
Just to do what? Just to put you in a prison cell. Imagine you a normal guy, living your normal life, trying to look after your mother, look after your father, yeah? They did this to you to put you in prison forever.
Yeah.
Why? That is called an enemy state, innit? They will not, it's not a normal state we're living in. That's a reality for Muslims.
So just to
look
add,
after yourselves and stick together.
Just to add to that, I think my brother Abu Tala, you seem to have this viewpoint that, you know, the reality for all Muslims in London is to say it's not, bro. Yeah,
It's divide and conquer,
bro.
man.
Let me tell you. The Emiratis, the Qataris, the Saudis that come here the month before Ramadan and in the casino and in the nightclub, yeah, bro. They don't face the same challenges as you and I, innit? Yeah, they don't face any challenges. They get 5-star treatment the moment they land in the country, bro. You know what I mean? They get 5-star treatment. So you saying our Muslims, like I said, bro, the challenges are not the same for all Muslims. Understand, racism works on 3 levels, yeah? It works on class, sex, and race. You understand me? The Saudi guy doesn't get any of the BS that you have to deal with. You know why? Because he's not the same class as you. You know what I mean? He's not the same ethnic group as you. Do you understand? And because of those privileges, he doesn't get it like you. And like I said, you have it easier than your sister because you're a man. That's another layer or another sort of way it works, innit? So like I said, innit, understand all the nuances that are involved, yeah? So when you're saying, all Muslims should come together, I hear you, innit? I hear you, yeah? And you know what, in an ideal world, that's how it should work. But ultimately, not all Muslims have the same challenges. You feel me? Not all Muslims have the same challenges. So it's more, because, listen, I'm telling you right now, if you asked one of these Saudis, yeah, one of these princes, yeah, have you ever faced Islamophobia in London? Yeah, what do you think they're going to say to you, bro? He might have the biggest beard. He might walk around in a robe every day. Ask him, have you ever faced Islamophobia? He'll tell you 100% no. You know why? Because they don't experience it. Him and the guy in his Range Rover, in his Rolls Royce, in his Ferrari, they don't experience it. You feel me? They don't experience it. So like I said, the challenges are not the same for everyone, innit? So understand the ones that you're more inclined to have similarities with. For example, you're Bengali, yeah? Bengalis, for the most part, listen, everybody knows. So Bengalis, for the most part, in London, I would suggest they have a very similar experience to Somalis, yeah? A very, very similar experience. So we have to put up with the same BS. You know what I mean? For the most part, Bengalis are melanated people. I would argue that plays a role in it because from my experience, Bengalis get it worse than Pakistanis. Pakistanis tend to be lighter skinned, fairer skinned than Bengalis, you know what I mean?
Just to say, I think Pakistanis, Islam is attributed to them a lot more in certain instances. For example, especially with the police, when it comes to the police or when it comes to the government, yeah, they are after the Pakistani community. Let's not get it twisted. The Pakistani community is specifically targeted as well. It may be even more heavily than the Somali community.
Sure, but I think there's a difference that is made.
It's not a conspiracy, bro. Like
there is a conspiracy.
There is a conspiracy. In jail isn't there because MI5.
No, there is a conspiracy.
No, there is a problem.
No, okay, we're gonna say obviously we're not saying everything's a conspiracy, but we're saying there is a conspiracy though. No, there is a conspiracy against Muslims. I'm be honest with you. It exists.
I'm not denying it, but I'm saying that every Muslim in prison isn't there because of MI5.
Sure, I agree with you. I'm saying the overwhelming majority. Muslims, yeah, we're not really criminals. We're not really about that. Oh, we're gonna stab somebody or we're gonna rob. Some Muslims maybe, innit? But I'm saying majority of Muslims who are practicing, they're not going around selling drugs, doing this or that. They're not. You understand? They're just living their normal life. I'm saying majority of Muslims in prison, yeah, is due to conspiracy. It is. And some are there for legitimate reasons. But even those who are there for legitimate reasons, they get stabbed and they get killed in prison.
It's mad.
It's mad. So why are Muslims, especially Somalis, yeah, they're getting killed in prison? Why? Why are we being targeted? It makes no sense. And if you
I
can't
would-
keep someone
I would
safe in
argue-
prison,
I
yeah,
would argue it
why are you
comes
putting them
down-
in prison?
I would argue it's down to social engineering. So when you're talking about this conspiracy, I would argue this conspiracy that you're describing is social engineering. So a young Somali boy is essentially told, you know, there is only one option open for you, that's criminality, right? Because he doesn't see himself in any other context, yeah? The teachers that he deals with in school, they don't look like him. You know what I mean? The policeman he sees walking down the road, they don't look like him. You know what I mean? The shopkeeper doesn't look like him. The butcher doesn't look like him. The only one that looks like him is the drug dealer. So what is he going to see himself being? You know what I mean? Now, the difference is that Somalis, they have a counter pressure and a counter narrative that they place on the women. They don't place on boys. Yeah? So our women, even though they have the societal pressure of take off your hijab, you know, wear a miniskirt, assimilate into the society, they don't, because the Somali family puts a counter pressure on them. You know what I mean? The Somali boy is told by society, sell drugs, you know what I mean? Don't wear a robe, don't go Jummah Salad, whatever. But there is no counter placed on them by the family, you understand? Even though they might suggest, oh, come home, they might call them up when they're out all night, but it's not the same as what is with the girl, isn't it? You know what I mean? So my suggestion is, understand the pressures that are put on the boy and the women and counter them. You know what I mean? And be mindful of it. So if I have kids, bro, best believe, if I have, say I have a dark-skinned child, yeah? I'm going to tell her every day your skin's beautiful, innit? Every single day I'm going to tell her that. Because I know that society is going to tell her your skin's ugly. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell her your hair is beautiful because I know every day she's going to hear that your hair is ugly.
Okay, just to wrap it up here, I want to say something about the liberals and the conservatives, yeah? Just talk about politics for a little bit, yeah? I believe the liberals, I told you, like Muslims, we have this belief system here, some of us, yeah? That there is a conspiracy against Muslims, yeah?
Okay.
And I'm telling you, it's been proven. And I'll tell you why it's been proven now to everybody to see. The liberals, usually they have an anti-Islam agenda. And they always try to put us down, always try to attack us, but they lie. When they come in front of the camera, they're lying. They say, oh, we love Muslims, we are nothing against them, freedom of religion, but in reality, they're attacking us. But the conservatives, they're doing the same thing, yeah, but they're open about it. They're telling us, look, Islam is evil, Islam is this and that, let's destroy them, you understand? And today, with Donald Trump, we see the reality, the true face of what they were trying to hide. Obama was doing this a long, long time ago. He was doing this for a long time, attacking Muslims. But then, yeah, he was hiding it, he's a liar, okay? Donald Trump comes along, tells you how it is straight away. No Muslims, bad Muslims, get rid of Muslims. Muslims are the troublemakers. Islam is evil. Islam is the one that
Why do they think that? Why?
Because that is what they're hiding within themselves.
Why?
1 second, Akhi. I'm saying this is what they're hiding within themselves.
Why are
yeah?
they hiding that?
But now they're being open about it. They're telling us
Why
to
are
our
they hiding
face.
that? That was a question.
And then there's still Muslims
Why are they
questioning
hiding
it.
what? They hate
There's
the
still
Muslims.
Muslims.
They don't hide in it.
Akhi, there's still
They're very
Muslims,
open
yeah.
about it.
What?
They've always been open
what's
about
the
it.
There's still
Function in
Muslims
them
there
for
who
them to
question
hate
that,
naturally.
who say they don't actually hate Islam. Even though they're telling you
I
to
would
their
suggest
face.
reading the book. It's called Confessions of a British Spy. In this book,
They're still questioning it. It's
there's a claim made by a British spy in the 1700s, whereby he claims that the British government have committed to sending 5,000 agents to the Muslim world with the aim of breaking this international sort of Muslim brotherhood that we have, particularly to segregate the Arab from the Turk. Because remember, at this time, the Ottoman Empire controlled the Arabian Peninsula. Remember what happened in the First World War? The Arabs turned against the Turk, innit? Yeah. So this was the aim, right? Now this agent, he says that he adopted Islam, or to the point where he studied to the point where people thought that he was like a learned Muslim, not just a Muslim, but a learned Muslim. Now he did this with the simple aim of infiltrating Islam with other agents in order to break this sort of brotherhood that we have. Now if you look at the Muslim world today, when a Muslim thinks of the Muslim world, they don't think of Mali, yeah, they're not thinking of Chad, they're not thinking of Niger, yeah. So that's the segregation between the Muslims. Right? When we think of the Muslim, are we thinking of a Turk?
Thinking of the Arab.
Or thinking exclusively of an Arab? Yeah, as if Islam is Arabic. It's not Arabic. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Now, where does this notion come from? Who segregated us? Because once upon a time, nobody would call you a Bengali, bro. They call you Muslim. Listen, 600 years ago, there was a Chinese Muslim that came to Africa, came to Somalia. He was a Muslim man. Yeah, he came with gold. We gave him giraffes.
I mean, the reason I bring it up
You know
is,
what I mean?
are we perpetuating the problem, or are we seeing the problem and changing it? I.e., you know, you were saying about, you know, if you're sending your children to school, are the parents doing enough to counter what's happening? Are our children proud of our culture, or are we adopting this Arab culture, which isn't helping the situation?
Our parents are not aware of the problem. So our parents, for example, they take, you know, authority at face value. Whatever a teacher says, they believe. Whatever a policeman says, they believe. Whatever a judge says, they believe.
Because this is the culture that they're from.
Yeah, because they think, only corruption happens in Africa. England is totally uncorrupt. Now, my dad wasn't like that. My dad used to tell me all the time, bruv, every single country in the world is corrupt. Some just hide it better than others. Yeah, and best believe, you see
every man is corrupt. But
trust me.
You know? Just to add to it, yeah. Do you think it's a coincidence? You know that tower that burned down, that was full of Muslims? Do you think it's a coincidence here that the police rang the people and told them, stay in your rooms? Is that a coincidence?
So that's
they burnt alive in the room.
Know,
so
bro,
these
are dangerous things.
To be honest,
that's procedure. That's protocol.
No, I don't think so.
Do you know what? That's protocol. That's why they were told.
Is it coincidence though?
This is what I mean about perpetuating a problem.
It's a protocol. Yeah, if you have a building that is designed in that fashion, that building is designed in that fashion in order to contain fires. If you're containing that,
did it burn the people alive?
Just wait. Let me land. Yeah. If you have a building that's designed in such a way whereby it's designed to contain fires within a room.
Yes, but it didn't.
Yeah, bruv, you have to let me finish.
I'm letting you finish.
Look, if you have a building that's designed to contain fires, if you're having people leaving, that's gonna cause trouble.
Yes.
So it's better to have people indoors. Now the reason the protocol failed is because they didn't understand that the fire was outside. They just thought it was in one room or one flat.
Okay, 1 second, yeah. There's witnesses. I saw witnesses themselves telling me the ambulances that arrived early, they saw the fire engulfing the building, yeah. It wasn't contained. It was engulfing the outside of the building. You could see it. It's on fire, yeah. And they're telling people stay indoors.
Yes, because they're following protocol.
That's not protocol. Protocol is not contained. The fire is not contained. You can see it.
Cool, but you have to understand the lady who's answering the phone, the 999 call. She doesn't maybe not know that, innit? So she's just going by her script, bro.
I don't think she does.
If there's this worldwide conspiracy against Muslims, as you say,
it's not worldwide.
But yeah,
worldwide, yeah.
Okay, it's deep-rooted as well.
It is worldwide.
And it's deep-rooted.
Yes.
What is the solution to it? Is it to perpetuate it and say, oh, everyone's against Muslims? No. But what are you doing?
I'll tell you the solution. Yeah, the solution to this conspiracy against Muslims, which actually exists. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe in every conspiracy. You understand? But this one, I do believe in it. It's true, yeah, because I saw it and I witnessed it myself. I will tell you the solution. The solution is, Muslims, we have to speak about it first, number one.
Do they have Muslim allies?
Tell people, 1 second, speak about it. Okay, raise awareness that we are being attacked as a community.
Do they have allies that are Muslim?
Yes.
Cool.
So words like Islamophobia in the rise, the last 10 years,
you know why
but what else?
Do you know why? Those are unwitting allies. Unwitting allies.
Really? The Saudi Arabian royal family, are they unwitting allies?
No, not them.
The Jordanian royal family,
I'm not talking about them.
allies.
I'm not talking about them.
The Egyptian military junta,
no, they're not unwitting. I'm not supporting them here. I'm saying us in the UK, there are people from our community supporting them. And the reason is they're unwitting allies because they have this divide and conquer mentality. They're trying to impose upon Muslims.
They're
trying to segregate us.
So do you. You're saying that these people are dividing us, and you're dividing us with the general mass. Because you're saying you're perpetuating the problem.
No, there is a conspiracy against us, though.
Yeah, but what's the solution?
There's no divide and conquer.
What's the solution? You're saying raise awareness, which is basically all you're doing is saying they're against us. And
no, I'm saying your system, okay, that exists today to the non-Muslims and the Muslims, we're being attacked as Muslims. We are at the bottom. We are the ones being seen as the enemy. That's fact.
But I think it's common knowledge now that Muslims are.
Yeah. So what's the solution? I'm asking you guys, as you're not Muslim, innit? You have to speak to your MP, speak to your president or whatever, and you have to speak up against the injustice.
But you're against democracy, though.
I don't support democracy.
So how are you going to pull up your MP, though?
No, but I'm saying if they believe in the democracy, right? If they believe in it, I'm saying you have to correct your own system, innit? Because your system is against us. Your system is targeting Muslims, innit? So you have to fix your own system, fix yourself. Go speak to your fellow non-Muslims, tell them, look, Muslims are not evil people, we're not your enemy, you understand? Yeah. And stop targeting Muslims, stop taking their children away. Stop.
5 minutes, yeah?
Yeah, just wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up. So, this is
what do you think is the solution? Let
interesting
him
topic.
No, I think I just think what you say perpetuates a problem. It's like
just to change the
this whole idea of division. That's part of the problem. Like I think like this them against us.
What them against us? I never said them against us. I'm saying we are being attacked as a community. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're against us. I'm saying
we all know it. We all say it. You know, we all say
What
there's,
did we say?
there's Islamophobia.
I rarely hear Muslims talking about the fact that our sisters are getting their children taken away from them, that the Muslim men are being raided in the middle of the night.
But it
innocent.
happens in all communities, all
No, it doesn't.
all walks of life.
No,
I'm
it
saying-
doesn't. That's a lie. That's a lie, complete lie. I'm apologise to you, yeah, but lie is a lie.
But my brother,
It happens
they have
specifically.
20 years ago,
different
20
cultures
years
have
ago it was the
different-
Irish. You understand that?
Exactly.
20 years ago it was the Irish. 20 years from now it will be the Chinese.
No, I'm talking today. Today
okay.
is specifically
Cool.
against the
You're
Muslims.
not wrong. You're not wrong. What I'm saying is this is not something that happened in 2018. This is a long continuation.
And they always
of
target
BS.
somebody, but today we're being
you know why? Because they need an enemy at
Exactly.
all times. They need an
Exactly.
enemy.
Exactly, it's true.
Yeah. So 100 years ago it was the Kaiser, then it was Hitler,
Yes.
then it was the Russians,
Yes.
and now it's the Muslims. Tomorrow it will be the Chinese. That's how it works.
And look
bro.
it up here. There's never been a decade of America here without America being at war. Never been a decade. Not even 10 years. They never went 10 years.
Okay, we
without
know
war.
the narrative, bro.
So
we know
it's
the
either
narrative.
first of Vietnam.
America's the head of
I'm
this
not-
anti-Islamic.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Trump will tell you.
What's
he
the
wants
solution?
to ban
though?
Muslims
What's the
specifically.
solution? We already
from
hate
coming to-
America enough. What's the solution?
I'm not saying to hate
because
them. I'm
amongst
just
those
telling the
people
truth.
are believers, bro. Amongst those people are people who are potential believers.
No, no, okay. I'm
What's
not
the
telling
solution?
you to hate anybody. I'm just saying, yeah. In America today, yeah, they told you, the president of America, that the one they elected, everybody elected him, yeah, most people, yeah. He said Muslims specifically have to be banned from
They're
America.
saying that because, and his reasoning for doing that was because they don't know what the problem is. They're not sure. They're not sure until they get. Look,
What happened to
if
freedom
a
of speech?
country.
Right, freedom of religion
Look,
is
I'm
gone
not. I'm
in
not
that.
defending America or UK, but if a country lets all these immigrants into the country, of course there's going to be an element of suspicion.
But why
there.
Muslims? He's
And,
mentioned
and
a
the
religion.
problem is
He
that
didn't mention Christianity
we are
or any
trying
other
to
religion.
emulate a culture that we are not indigenous to. Our parents are trying to force this idea of, oh, Islam, Arabized Islam, but they're not teaching us our culture. They're not enriching us the way we should. We're trying to integrate, and when you integrate, you're going to have the problem.
I'm not talking about
You're
this.
going to have problems.
Right, you're missing
That's
the
what
point.
Bengalis and Somalis have. We're integrating this country, and we have our problems. It comes with the territory, doesn't it? Of integration.
No, we don't have any.
But
look,
the solution isn't to point the finger and say-
America, most terrorism that happened in America, yeah, was happened by white people. It happened by themselves. It's called domestic terrorism. Look it up. Christians are the biggest terrorists in America. They're the ones killing themselves. They're the ones blowing up abortion clinics and all that. They're doing it. But they're not focused on Christians. They're not focused on white people.
But bro,
he said
they could
Muslims.
turn around and say Muslims are doing that in certain parts of the world.
No, I'm talking about in America, yeah.
It's a
Why-
cycle will go on and on and on and on.
I'm talking
and
about
on.
America. We're not the
Done.
issue. We're not the issue in America. But they're trying to make us the issue. Just like in the UK, they're trying to make Muslims the issue. So I wrap it up here, Somali Corner. We didn't have enough people, but next time, inshallah, we're going to try to make it happen.
Featuring the Bengali, yeah? Featuring the Bengali.
He's the one who's interrupting this time.
Subscribe, unlike Somali Corner, yeah. He's going to add the link, our YouTube channel.
I'm subscribing. Somali Corner, yeah?
Somali Corner.
Somali. Seta, you're right.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair.
Content over everything. From your man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC.
Man, I didn't want to come
Man, don't
out.
listen.
I'll be honest with you. But
I was coming out. Because of the good news we've had, I was coming out. Just coming out. Yeah, we've had some good news. A little balance.
also, what balance you chat about there?
COE, man.
Ah,
I keep forgetting that.
so you were upset they
I
got
was upset,
taken
yeah,
down.
I was, but I stayed steady. I
Yeah.
prayed. You know what I mean? I always pray. Praying is essential.
Yeah, man. Now it was disheartening, man. And then now to hear the news that everything's back up and running, so them youths they can still get the